When do you end a relationship? I think it's safe to say that we've all been there. We've committed to somebody, to being with somebody, being in relationship with someone that we thought we were compatible with and in love with, and they loved us and we loved them. And after, a year or two or 5 years or 6 years, 10 years, it's clear and obvious that it's not working for any number of reasons. Just when do you end it? I know I've ended relationships when it's just like the frustration level gets so high that it's like, that's it. And I've done it in anger. Maybe you have too. Maybe you've done it with just frustration or hopelessness. And it's just the feelings get too great and just, that's it. No more. But how can we bring intentionality, consciousness and awareness to the ending of a relationship, as well as the beginning and the duration of it? All right, one of the most painful relationships that I was in it was a very long relationship, and for many years I was very unhappy in the relationship, and I worked very hard at myself and also between us to get connection, to deepen the connection and to make it work the way that we intended from the beginning. And I never got there. And I worked and I worked and I worked, believing that one day it would go back to where it was, because I couldn't see any reason why it had changed in the first place. And I had to accept that it wasn't going to change. And that moment when I came to the realization that it was over came from asking myself a question. The question was, there was two questions. Is this as good as it gets? After persisting for years, I asked myself, is this as good as it gets? Is this as good as it's going to get? After trying for years and years and years, I had to accept the fact that this is as good as it's ever going to get. And if that was the case, the next question I asked myself, if this is as good as it gets, do I want to stay here? And the answer from within myself was a huge, resounding, loud no. And from that moment forward, I knew with every fibre in my being that it was finished. I couldn't do any more. I couldn't learn any more. There was no point in going further. But what if there's more benefit in staying in a relationship that's not working or not working exactly the way that you want? What if there's benefit for you both, maybe both of you, but definitely for yourself, in staying just that little bit longer? What if, this is assuming that there's no physical and emotional violence and abuse, okay? That's physical and emotional violence and abuse is in its own little box and it's put to the side. At the end of a relationship, maybe, just maybe, this is the most potent phase of the relationship to learn about yourself. The least that we can do when we're facing the end of the relationship is to speak up and to speak out about all the things that we've been holding on to. So all the withholds, everything that we haven't spoken for months or years, it's time to speak up. What have you got to lose? What do you have to lose? You finally get to speak your truth in the relationship. And you don't speak it in such a way that you're, abusing the person or, finally getting a chance to whack them over the head with, all your problems. But speaking your truth in such a way that it can be heard. You're at the end of the relationship anyway, so what have you got to lose? There's a great benefit there, possibly, if you speak up and the other person can actually hear what you're saying. There's a possibility that you might actually get through this phase and a new phase of blossoming might occur. You've got a 50-50 chance if they're willing to work with you and you're willing to hear what they have to say about what they have been withholding as well. Another aspect of the benefit of staying for a little while longer in a long-term relationship is that you get to learn about your own patterns in relationship. You get to learn about your own dysfunction, your own dysfunctionality. It's really easy in relationship to point the finger and to recognize dysfunction and toxicity and red flags in another person. Anybody can do that. But an evolved person, a person committed to their personal growth, the more challenging thing to do is to look in the mirror and be able to recognize your own dysfunction, your own toxicity, your own patterns of behavior which are not healthy. And we learn about these patterns by staying in the relationship. And if we assume that you're going to repeat these patterns just with somebody new, why not stay for a bit longer and work through the pattern that you've actually recognized with the person that you're currently with? Once again, there's no emotional and physical violence there, or emotional and physical abuse. But you're going to come out of it healthier, with greater awareness, and with a greater capacity to recognize your old pattern in a new lover in the future. It's a win-win. And you may even work through the dysfunctional pattern and into something better for the both of you. It's just a thought. It's something that I've learnt to do and that I've encouraged some others to do over the years. And there has been some great benefit and aha moments. And for some people, it's quite profound to actually stay in that uncomfortableness of a relationship that's not working, and you're learning about yourself, and the relationship might actually get better. And if it doesn't, you're definitely going to be healthier for the next one. That's all I've got to say today. Keep well. My name's Steve Sweeney, and I'll see you again soon.